Why do you underperform sometimes? Have you ever really spent a significant amount of time thinking about this? Why is it that sometimes I can perform all the way up here, close to my very best or right at it? And why sometimes am I down here? And why sometimes do you end up down there? Well, the answer is the inner game. The science of excellence is all about mastering and winning the inner game. What is going on inside of this powerful neurological 2-pound structure? Everything that you're doing is being determined by what's going on in here, by what's going on inside your mind. Because what's going on inside your mind here is dictating what's going on inside of your body. Every single thought that you have creates a neurochemical concoction, an explosion of chemicals. And these chemicals are either joyous, positive ones, or the fearful based ones. So your thoughts are either driving you in one way or the other. They're either leading you towards growth, or they're leading you towards diminishment, fear, avoidance, anxiety. So it's important that you practice mastering the inner game so that you gain consistency with what you're doing. And this neurological structure that we have inside our mind is wired, it's deeply innate within us to keep what's familiar and keep doing it, because what's familiar to the mind ensures survival. And in some deeper way, you and your passions for sport is ultimately tied to some kind of deeper need to thrive in the world. This is how you are making your claim. This is how you make your mark in the game of life. And in order for you to master your truest performance and find it and consistently perform to it, you've got to master the inner game. So how do you start to really find the consistency? And as I've said previously, the key thing is managing your state, because the state is the thing which is driving these neurochemical, these neurological processes. And all of this is starting to be controlled by the amygdala, by the limbic system. Your emotions, many of them are created and certainly stored in the amygdala. This is where we're storing all of our emotions so that we can learn about what we need to do in life and how we do it. So when you want to start becoming more consistent with what you're doing, you've got to take control. You've got to manage your state. And the brain is creating your states, your emotional states, through two mechanisms: through the pitches that you make and through the sounds that you're hearing and creating, the words, the voice, your stores inside of your mind. This is what creates consistently. And if you are consistently telling yourself disempowering things versus telling yourself positive, empowering things, then that's what you're going to wire into the neurology of your mind. And you need to start to change this. Because when you really start to understand the power of words, then you would not say many of the things that you say to yourself. You just would not do it. If you really truly understood what I understand about the power of words and what they do and don't do, then you just would not say certain terms. You would not say, this training session is killing me. This training session is too tough. You wouldn't say things like that, because the subconscious mind doesn't understand the kind of sarcasm. It sees it as it is real at a deeper level. Consciously, you know that your words in that moment aren't really what you're actually experiencing. It's not really killing you. But if you keep saying to yourself, this is killing me, this is killing me, this is killing me, this is killing me, this is killing me. And think how many times you might have said this thing. Just spend a moment now, just thinking of a phrase that you say to yourself about the way that you're performing or the way that you're training. Something that when you really look at it, and see it for what it is, and if you write it down and say it out loud now and say it, it almost becomes laughable. And you need to take control of those phrases that you say, because they are driving the state. And you want to take control of your inner state. And you can do this by taking control over what you're saying and what you're seeing inside your mind. So it's about preparation. Like a good chef, they will get all of their things organized beforehand. They will have their recipe of what they want their great performance to look like. They know, they've made this dish countless times and they know all the ingredients. And before they start making it, they'll have it all chopped up, ready to go. Yeah, they'll have everything in this neat place and they'll have it all chopped up, and then eventually it's going to come into one pot. What I'm trying to say here is that you've got to create this movie inside of your mind ahead of time. Your brain is wired to create things and to see things and perceive the world through pictures and sounds. So you need to start getting into the habit of seeing your performance ahead of time. This is the key. See what you want to see, and see it with intensity. See it with passion, see it with energy, see it with enjoyment. This is a real key. Enjoying what you're doing, seeing yourself going out performing, whether you're winning, losing or drawing, and see yourself doing it with a smile on your face, looking and sounding, feeling joyful, enjoying what you're doing. Because if you enjoy it, even if you're losing, you can still enjoy it, can't you? Might not feel so great at the time, but you can flip it. You can still enjoy what you're doing, because if you and your subconscious mind is enjoying what you're doing, you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep going through the challenging times, because deep down you love what you're doing. And this is one of the biggest problems that athletes have, is that their motivation can wane because they stop enjoying what they're doing. And you can take charge of this by getting yourself into powerful states ahead of time. Spend some time when you're traveling to your competition, when you're traveling to training, imagining exactly what it's going to look like, exactly how you're going to move, exactly how you're going to perform and execute what you're doing. Notice exactly how you're going to be talking to yourself, and how you're talking to yourself if you make a mistake, yeah, and how you're going to correct it the next time, and making sure that you create these powerful feelings of enjoyment, of energy, of tenacity, of desire. Take control over your neurology, take control over your physiology, take control of the images, take control of the sounds. And when you match powerful, empowering sounds with powerful visual images, you will create powerful, strong feelings, and you and your brain and your body will be compelled to go and do and carry out this movie inside your mind, your masterpiece. Before you go and train and compete, get used to making your own YouTube video inside your mind of you performing your best performances. Create this highlights reel of you performing at your absolute best. Yeah, again, use what you've done in the past, use your best performances from the past, and remember 3, 4, 5 of them, and keep going back and remembering again, and then add some new ones on, your new future performances, seeing yourself performing in this new way, seeing yourself getting better and better and better and better, seeing yourself getting better and better, and playing with more and more enjoyment. And this is how you can start to get more consistency. And it starts with, consistently future planning what you want to see and what you want to experience and what you want to hear ahead of time. It's about taking charge of your sensory system and retraining it and creating the pattern ahead of time. This is essentially what you're doing when you're visualizing. You're creating the pattern neurologically, neurophysiologically ahead of time. You're creating a memory before it's happened. And the more you think this memory, the more you think this image, and the more you watch your YouTube highlights reel of you playing awesome, playing at your best, playing with enjoyment, the more you do this, the more that your mind actually thinks that this is just going to happen because this is just what I do. And you need to create these habits of spending 10-15 minutes at various times before you go and perform. This is how you get more consistency, and it starts to create some new familiar patterns that enables you to keep driving yourself further and further and further ahead of your past performances and closer towards your potential, your truest potential. And that potential will never be fully reached because you can consistently just keep nudging it and nudging it and nudging it and getting better and getting better. But it all starts with winning the inner game. And you win the inner game before the game. You win the inner game way before you step out on the court, the track, the pitch, the pool. It's won before. It's won way before. Yeah, it's won with all the training sessions you've done in the past. It's won with the past performances, but it's also won before you go to bed. It's also won when you wake up in the morning. It's also won when you're traveling to go and compete and train. It's won in the warm-up. It's won in the changing room. Take charge. Control your mind. Don't let it get distracted with thoughts, doubts. Yeah, don't let anybody knock you out of your zone. And if this means that you have to stick headphones in and listen to music, which can be really powerful for you. Yeah, using music which can trigger a state of flow, it can trigger a state of energy, it can trigger these powerful states. So get used to this. Use music to power and fuel your performance, because this will help bring you into the state. It'll bring you into this neurological state where you can keep wiring in your performances ahead of time. So after this video, make sure you're creating a routine leading up to your training sessions, leading up to your matches, where you're programming the neurology, the movie inside your mind of exactly how you want to perform. And also know that, no matter how perfect you plan this movie inside your mind, it's never going to be exactly like that. And be aware of that. Because the tree which bends with the wind will never break. And if you've only got one pattern, one way of performing, then you're in trouble. You've seen many athletes, many teams who had one idea. This is what we're going to do. We're performing like this. And then an opposition did something completely different, or they figured out their strategy and they had no answer to it. So you've got to be flexible with this movie that you're creating inside your mind. So make sure you do it. And when you're having some successes with it, or even if you're struggling with it, just drop me a message, leave some comments below, get in touch, and I will gladly help give you some pointers. But the best way of getting this specific help, really unlocking and winning the inner game, is to just get in touch with me and arrange a free consultation session. And then you and we can map out a program of techniques based on your needs, your targets, and your particular sport. So I hope you found this video useful, and I hope to hear from you at some point in the future. Take it easy.